What's up guys, it's the Devil's Talon here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at how you can improve your endgame, especially in stacked lobbies, by analyzing Klass, Deroller, and Co1azo's insane performance in FNCS Qualifier 2 Finals. They ended up winning the tournament by a whopping 85 points, easily one of the most dominant performances by any trio that I've seen, and we're going to take a look at their two best games. However, all of their games were great, all top 10s and 5 top 5s, just absolutely dominance. But before I get into this VOD review, guys, if you do enjoy my content or find what I'm telling you helpful, please drop a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on post notifications. But without further ado, let's just jump right in. Alright guys, as you can see on the screen, we have Klass's POV. We're going to be talking about this early game because a big reason why that they were so successful in endgame is because of their early game. And this is due to the fact that, one, they were getting contested by what I would consider not randoms or no-names. I don't like using that term, but not established pros. They end up winning off spawn every single time, so they did not have to worry about surge in mid game. They didn't really have to, all they had to really focus on was positioning. Klass, as you can see here, is going to get this started with a snipe, and this is going to cause an immediate push from Co1azo Deroller, etc. Now unfortunately you're going to see Co1azo kind of gets a little bit overextended. Also want to point out, look at the health of these two particular players that they're fighting, Jaren User, Dictate, and then Users, who's going to be up here and gets a fry. But what I'm going to talk about is they recognized early that, one, Dictate got sniped, so he's going to have no health. They're landing outskirts, right? There isn't a lot of loot density. This is going to be what should be an easy push. They should have health advantage. But you're going to see what happens sometimes if you get overextended as a solo. You're going to see Co1azo kind of start taking shield, not knowing that Users is going to be right here. He's going to get absolutely fried in the back. Right here, almost goes down. Really fortunate that he didn't. Klass, however, is going to be up here. Co1azo does exactly what you're supposed to do, which is solo. It's just do everything in your power to stay up. That's exactly what happens. Dictate does end up getting full shield. He gets another snipe off on him. Just a magnet. Now, you're going to see Deroller's going to kind of be up here and be the one that kind of saves this engagement. He's playing much slow. Klass ends up getting cracked and fried. We're going to kind of just replay this over. This is a really good job of then just funneling through. Co1azo does an insanely good job of rotating over, and you're going to see Deroller is going to get the finish up there. But let's kind of, Klass kind of starts this all. Let's just take a look what he does here. So that huge snipe, two snipes, we're going to look at Klass's perspective, and then we're going to switch over to Deroller's. And I want you just to really talk about what, like, this is splitting, but this is a little bit effective. Once Co1azo gets fried, it's almost not a good engagement, because look how much HP, and Co1azo has nothing but bandages, but Co1azo does a great job of staying up as a solo. This snipe is huge, because they actually have a good amount of shield, and Klass is going to do a great job of getting this kill, and then watch what ends up happening here. Now, Klass has knocked one, and then it's a funnel over because of how weak he is, and Co1azo does a great job of protecting his back using whatever mats he can. He gets it, and this is going to be basically a perfect sandwich right here. You're going to see this guy, Deroller, it's a 3v1. The knock does not matter, and this is really good. They all just pinch him. You take that trade. They have two down, more than likely. It doesn't matter if he gets finished. They're going to get the finish, and then Deroller basically wins the 1v1 with the only one having real health. Gets a nice little crack. The opponent makes an edit, and then Deroller reads that, pre-fires, and ends the fight fast. And so they're pretty much set for surge. They don't have to worry about tags for mid-game, and you're going to see that be very, very beneficial. Let's kind of flash over. They get into this mid-game. They're going to get one pick up here, which is, it's not too big of a deal. Let's see. Let's kind of fast forward here just to get to the point. They end up getting an AR pick on this unfortunate opponent. I believe, actually, Klass is the one who gets this finish. I'm not exactly sure. I think Klass was the one that got that. But they get this mid-game packed. But now we're going to talk about what they do in endgame. There's a saying in trios this season is that high ground wins games, but low ground wins tournaments. And the two games we're going to watch is going to be a good example of that. High ground wins this particular game, but in the next VOD that we're going to be looking at where they win, they play low ground and they absolutely frag out as well. This game isn't a high kill game, but it's obviously, you know, it's finals. You're going to take every victory royale that you could get. We're going to skip through here to about I want to go into half and half. They make an excellent play with a very, very rare weapon that's going to gift them high ground for the entire rest. They hold it from pretty much half and half on. We're going to take a look at Klass's perspective when we get there. They basically bully Jacques, Acorn, and I don't know his other trio. He's out there dancing out in the open. Alright, so they get half and half, which is really, really fortunate. And look, 682 above. Let's go to Klass now. Klass has this launcher right here. And I think all it does is it make things icy and slippery. And what is going to end up happening here is once they get close to moving, let's just skip forward here as this zone comes in. And look, that early spawn fight, giving them a ton of surge. They don't have to worry about it. They're not going to get zoned, but they're basically bully anybody off with this. Yada, yada, yada. Everyone comes in. And then, so you notice what he's doing here? He's in wood. He reconnects smartly. He's going to shoot this launcher thing, make it kind of slippery and annoying, and then he's going to go reconnect. And this is going to allow them to have high ground for the rest. Pretty much the rest of what I would say, the entire match. Because they don't get off it at all. And he kind of shoots it, and then I don't know if Jacques is taking Storm. It looks like they're up too high, overextended. He uses this opportunity to connect. Now they have a great base going. And they have high ground. You're going to see Co1azo be already overextending towards zone. This is really smart. They're looking, focusing second height. Getting some good tags. Now, I just want to talk about, too, look at the positioning of all three of these players. Klass and Deroller are towards the back. And then Co1azo, you notice how they're all playing different angles, back and front side? This is textbook trios. Co1azo sitting up, playing ahead. Deroller and Deroller and Klass are sitting back. With the viewer VOD review yesterday, this is just something that they did. I would definitely recommend watching. And look at Co1azo's awareness dropping down a tad layer. He goes down to immediately reconnect right here. Huge. Just basically securing things for his team. Klass is up on a different layer. And you're going to see this throughout. This comes in very, very handy towards the end. They get this, for some reason, this block is hilarious. Or this block. It's frozen for a good while there. Playing multiple layers. Co1azo's throwing. They don't get a ton of frags. Just everything's really, really congested. They're just using the peppers to use them in case maybe someone tries and psychos, but he's using this frozen thing. They're basically trying to fry off. And then Co1azo leading now. For some reason, Co1azo's building out of wood here, which I don't understand. He has almost 500 metal, and he does eventually switch over. I think, yeah, you get the comps right there. He switches over. But notice how he's the one that's leading the way. Nice, gets a AR fry. I believe Klass is about to pick one up as well. You're going to see him go on a different layer right here. Playing ultimate high ground is what this is called. Nice, he gets another fry. Deroller goes and does a good job of recognizing that there's loot there. But this basically prevents a high ground retake from a team that's looking for height. And you're going to see it work exactly that particular way. I just realized that I didn't turn on sound effects, so I apologize, but I think it's better. You don't need to really, really hear. It's pretty loud anyways for the most part. Now notice here again, playing up from this layer, Deroller and Co1azo are playing on a separate layers. Klass is sitting up on ultimate high ground. Co1azo leading the way, reconnecting, getting ahead. And notice, just three angles. You have Co1azo in the front, Deroller, mid, Klass, and back, right? It just gives you a whole bunch of... And here's the height take that I was talking about. And what Klass runs out of... Basically has no builds, but what ends up happening is Slacks goes for the high ground, right? On Co1azo, they're going for it. But because that Klass is on ultimate high ground, gets a humongous fry, and that pretty much stops the high ground retake. That split right there wins them this game. And that's textbook in trios. You have one playing ultimate high, two playing on the same layer that is super supported. If anyone goes for height, they think, oh, there's height, and then there's just some, it'll entice teams if they have the mats to go for it. And then you have someone all the way up. It's like, nah, you're free beams. That's exactly what happens. And they get another fortunate zone to pull back, even though they don't have mats. Let's see. Co1azo and Klass. And this is going to be pretty much textbook. They just kind of outlast the entire lobby. They hold height from pretty much half and half on. Good angle right here from Co1azo. See, there he's ahead. He's towards the front half of zone. He finally gets the pickup on Acorn. And then everything is kind of chaos on the bottom. Klass is just applying pressure. Co1azo's getting ahead, looking forward. It doesn't only having 14 builds, but it doesn't matter. Everything's so congested down there. Everyone's all in the same layer. Everyone's chilling up top here. Deroller's taking a big pot. Co1azo's going to go off and cut off. They got to know this is pretty much their victory. They're a full trio on high ground. Everyone's got to rotate in them. He's pre-taking. I believe Deroller's going to end up getting this last elimination just from, again, Snake Ackerman, I believe, is the only one that makes it out. He takes a little bit of storm, busts through, gets in, and he's going to go into a bunch of builds that aren't his. He gets shot in the back, hits him for 30 on an opponent who's super weak, and he's going to end up dying to zone because he doesn't have any builds. And that was just all textbook one, bullying, Jacques and Acorn off of that layer with the super launcher, realizing the fact that they were on edge zone and maybe weren't the healthiest. So he reconnects. Co1azo does a great job of getting ahead. Klass does an excellent job of keeping ultimate height, which allows them to win the game. Them winning that game is from preventing that height play. If Klass is on the same layer, more than likely Slacks, Acorn, and Jock end up getting that high ground, and they don't end up winning. But they held height literally from 5th to 9th. They held it the entire time. Super easy, 8 kills. And I'm not going to lie, probably, like I said, the biggest reason why they were so dominant in this particular tournament was the fact that they were pretty much blessed with walking 50 pots that were contesting them at caddy corner. It just didn't, not, again, household names coming into a huge tournament. Maybe, nerves, jitters, just trying to prove themselves. Maybe they just didn't have a backup plan. They basically were giving them free surge throughout, so they did not have to worry about it, didn't have to take any 50-50s, didn't have to worry about taking positioning or going for tags, getting sniped, and that's how they ended up placing top 10 in 6-6 and top 5 and 5-5. We're going to take a look at their other game where it's a completely different style. You see this a lot. They're going to play ulti low and end up winning that particular game with a little bit more eliminations. Let's take a look into the next game. Alright guys, we are into game number 2. Now you're going to see that they get contested off spawn again, and they're going to win again, thus giving them a significant amount of surge. And these fights are absolutely ridiculous to be having in a finals. It looks horrendous. We're going to take a look at Klass. He's going to get a harpoon. The other person gets a AK. You're going to see what ends up. He hits him for 75. Couldn't hit him with a harpoon. Horrible aim by both. Deroller's going to come off and finish the fight quickly. Co1azo's going to get back Klass, go for the res. And there's just no shield RNG fighting. Co1azo ends up stopping it. No mats, or barely little mats. You're going to see here Klass ends up getting finished, but it doesn't matter because it's Co1azo's going to end up getting elimination. We'll look at that, what he did there just in a second. I thought Deroller got both, but Co1azo ends up getting elimination. They end up slow playing. Really good, smart job right here that he tells him, hey, get the minis. He's like, they're going to go, he's going to go get cards. I remember I watched the actual video from Co1azo's YouTube channel. Told him to get cards. Look at this, playing extremely slow. Getting all of his heals off, so now it's 150 versus an opponent that has nothing. Just the issue is map 4 builds. This is basically 50-50 in your tournament. They're fortunate that I'm basically saying for this other trio to kind of try and bully them off the drop spot. Does a great job right here of Co1azo. And no mats, I'm assuming, for Jerry user. Deroller is going to get the pickup here. They're going to get Klass's cards and finish. Let's just take a look at Co1azo kill, because Co1azo kill was a 1v1. But this off spawn, it's just kind of gifted. You usually don't see this in finals where you have these just kind of RNG off spawn fights. Gets 59 and then just AR beams him, gets the finish. Good job making sure he gets full. And look at all the surge they're going to get from that. And then we just already saw how it finished. So again, a much better... Now let's see if they get anything in mid-game here. Let's see. Looks like they get maybe one. Let's just kind of fast forward to... Because again, they don't have to worry about surge. So their mid-game's going to be all about good positioning. Playing edge here. So let's kind of fast forward to this. Because we'll start from half and half and watch it all the way through. You're going to see them frag out. Look, 194 above with all of their stuff from off spawn. They end up to go up for a little bit more. And they triple spray and get a nice pickup onto Avery. Give them a little bit more surge. An extra elimination. They're using Harpoon for loot. They get a ton of it. Whenever Klass got an elimination. Let's see where Klass got his elimination. He got an elimination much earlier. Let's take a look at that as well. This endgame's gonna be really good. Looks like they're gonna get a... It's a nice little pickup right there on a solo. And now let's get into half and half, and then let's talk about the very different ways that they played this particular game. They're in half and half. Look at that. They're on low ground, right? Let's take a look here. But they're solid on surge. They have a good tart from all the extra mats that they have harpooned, as you saw. They can also, they're in the sand here, so maybe sand tate being a factor. Given Klass is going to lead when it comes to tarping. You see on high ground, Co1azo being the one that gets ahead in fries, but when it comes to endgame tarping, looks like Klass, another some fortunate RNG right here as well. They're going to get to recycle a lot of their tarp already made. But they're playing low ground, right? It's not anything like... Really good right there. Realizing they were on a horrible lair. And they can't really get challenged. It's such a hard angle. That zone being where they are is really fortunate. If it goes up there, that's going to be really hard to deal with. Nice caddy peppers for more efficient rotation. And they just get to use a lot of this old tarp that they've already kind of made. Klass is going to be the one leader, so we're going to watch. Pre-building ahead. Nice. Good layers right here. Just going up right here. Getting more space. Pre-edited walls. He hasn't turned that off yet, surprisingly. Nice. Claiming a ton of space. They have a little bit of surge, not the best. We're going to see a little frozen. I don't know why it's so delayed. Oh my goodness. Okay, we don't get to see what happens. It's okay. They tarped in. Only 68 above surge. Let's see. Let's take a look and see if they get any pickups here. Nope, they're not worried about it. They're still above for surge. Looks like they're not too concerned. Playing this low ground layer well. Find an extra, looks like some extra stuff right here. Another good zone. I believe a lot of this. Notice just playing that low ground and all this congestion, but they're ahead, right? Playing congestion while ahead is great. You get to save a lot of mats. They do a good job of just blocking off any ways entrances into their tarp with hard mats. And then now they're in a fully built hard layer right here. Immediately continue to go to the side, getting away from the trio that's now under them. And then again, unfortunately, due to replay, we don't really get to see. He gets a full split of hard mats. I love watching just Klass. They're using a ton of mats, creating a ton of space. Now looking back right here. They're trying to get picks back here, and their tarp, it's not happening as of right now. Klass is continuing to lead. Not using a ton. 25. Good recognition that's not their top. He's giving everyone peppers for quicker movement in case they need to get into sticky situations. Klass leading the way here. Notice, not going for any eliminations, still using all of their mats to play as much placement as possible. Nice, Co1azo's going to get a pickup here. Now they really start fragging out here. Let's take... This trio ends up going nuts in this late game. Unfortunately, Klass gets cracked for a lot. Oh, that's Crumbler, I apologize. They're still doing a great job of playing ahead. They have still a great amount of mats for them playing the low ground. They all splash together. Co1azo leaning ahead. Good job of just protecting. Takes a little bit of damage. Take a look. They're playing very well as a trio. They get chug splashed. Klass ends up getting taken out. Co1azo ends up just aim assisting Agers. And they end up frying out here. He gets another frag. Deroller's doing a good job of leading ahead here. Co1azo ends up getting another frag right there, fragging out on the low. Deroller's been getting some frags as well. But notice, completely different game, right? Good layer switch off something scuffed. Co1azo's playing low. Great job from Co1azo, again getting another frag right here. Beautiful, just playing this low ground. And what's going to end up happening, he uses all splashes and then is just going to claim a lot of the space. He makes a bouncer play up. The roller ends up killing one. And then they end up getting the other person. 8 frags for Co1azo, 2 for Klass, 6 for Deroller. And that is a 16 kill elimination. And that is why the saying, high ground wins games, low ground wins tourneys, and you're going to be winning tourneys when you have 16 kills on the low ground. They never played a layer. They never ever made any decision to go up. They played that low ground. They had some good fortunate zones. They used their max extended, and then once everyone was kind of shambles, they picked off whoever they needed to pick off, with Deroller and Co1azo doing a great job of fragging in that late game. Klass unfortunately getting taken out, but then Co1azo 2 big frags, getting tons of refreshes. They end up getting a bunch of kills, just basically being again on the low ground. It's really different like approaches, but they're both important for success in trios. You need to know how to hold height and get maybe, you know, that first victory royale, and you need to know how to play low. Playing low is really good for multiple reasons. Especially in these super stacked lobbies, there's so much excess builds to usually be recycled that it ends up saving you a ton of mats. I mean, mats were never really a concern until literally Ninth Zone, when maybe back of 8th. They kept on getting refreshes in 9th that allowed them to pretty much succeed. Co1azo still having a significant amount of builds, I believe. Yeah, still having around 20-ish builds even at the end. So really impressive job from this trio. The most dominant performance in FNCS I can remember on one of the 3 big main servers, winning by 85 points. Really great stuff from this trio. I'm looking forward to seeing them in the grand finals, and that's going to do it for today's VOD for you guys. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, please drop a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on post notifications. And I hope I'll be seeing you in the next one. Peace.